Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Sehel Mazar. Today, we're diving into the world of modern US coinage to answer a question I get all the time. Alex, I found a 1974 half dollar. Is it worth anything? Is it a fortune waiting to be spent? The short answer is, it's complicated. This coin, the 1974 Kennedy half dollar, is one of the most common coins of the 20th century. But, and this is a big but, there are specific varieties and conditions that can turn this common find into a seriously valuable collectible. So, if you have a jar of old coins or you're just curious about what's in your pocket change, stick around. We're going to break down everything you need to know about the 1974 half dollar value. First, let's set the stage. By 1974, the Kennedy half dollar had been in circulation for a decade, honoring the beloved president after his tragic assassination. But there was a big problem in the early 1970s, a nationwide coin shortage, primarily for silver coins. You see, before 1965, dimes, quarters, and half dollars were made of 90% silver. But in 1965, to curb hoarding, the U.S. Mint removed the silver from quarters and dimes and reduced the silver in half dollars to 40%. That lasted until 1970. And that brings us to our star. Starting in 1971, the half dollar, including our 1974 coin, was made with a clad composition. This is just an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. There is no silver in a standard 1974 half dollar. Because of this, and because the mint produced them in massive numbers for circulation, most 1974 halves are just worth their face value. Yep, 50 cents. If you have a worn, circulated 1974 half, it's a great piece of history, but it's not paying for a new car. However, don't lose hope. Value in coin collecting is driven by three things: mintage, condition, and errors. This means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. These are the most common. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 200 million of these in 1974 alone. From the Denver Mint. Also very common, with about 80 million made. This is the important one. The San Francisco Mint did not make circulation strikes in 1974. They only made coins for collectors, and these are a different story entirely. This is the golden rule of numismatics. A coin that looks like it just came out of the mint is infinitely more valuable than one that's been jangling in pockets for 50 years. Light wear on the highest points of Kennedy's hair and the eagle's breast. Worth about $1 to $2 no wear, but may have bag marks or contact scratches from being stored with other coins. Value, $2 to $5. A beautiful, sharply struck coin with great luster and only minor, unnoticeable marks. This is where value starts to climb. A 1974 or 1974 D in MS-65 can be worth $10 to $20. Superb quality. A top-tier example like an MS-66 can fetch $30 to $60, and the absolute finest known specimens in MS-67 have sold for over $200. So, if you have a 1974 half that looks like it's never been touched, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. Now, remember that S mint mark. Here's where we find the real treasure for 1974. The San Francisco Mint struck two types of coins that year specifically for collectors and proof sets. Point 1. The clad proof asterisk. This has the same copper-nickel composition as the circulation strikes, but it's made with special polished dies and planchets, giving it a brilliant, mirror-like finish. These are beautiful and worth about $5 to $10.2. The silver proof asterisk. This is the king of the 1974 half dollars. Even though circulation coins had no silver, the mint offered a special version for collectors struck in 40% silver, just like the pre-1971 halves. How do you tell them apart? The clad proof weighs 11.34 grams, while the silver proof weighs 11.50 grams. But the easiest way is its appearance, that deep, mirror background and frosty, cameo effect on the design. That a 1974 silver proof in a perfect PR-70 grade is a stunning coin. Even a standard PR-69 is worth $15 to $25. And if you have one with deep cameo contrast, the value can jump to $50 or more. So, always check for that mint mark. I'm talking about the 1974 D double die obverse. This is a famous error coin caused by a misalignment in the die-making process. It resulted in clear doubling, especially visible on the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and the date. This is not the same as machine doubling, which is flat and shelf-like. This is true, dramatic doubling that gives the letters a shadow effect. This coin is rare and highly sought after. While a regular 1974 D is worth 50 cents, a 1974 D double die obverse in uncirculated condition, what coin has witnessed the birth of a nation, carried the torch of liberty across a continent, memorialized a beloved president, and nearly vanished from our pockets? The answer is the United States half-dollar. For over 230 years, the 50-cent piece has been a constant, if sometimes quiet, witness to American history. Its story is one of shifting designs, changing metals, and evolving purpose. So, let's flip the pages of time and explore the complete history of the U.S. half-dollar. Our story begins with the Coinage Act of 1792, which established the U.S. Mint and the American dollar. The half-dollar was a crucial part of this new monetary system. The very first design, minted from 1794 to 1795, was the flowing hair half-dollar. It featured a portrait of liberty with flowing hair on the obverse and a small, majestic eagle on the reverse. These coins were made of 89.2% silver and were large, heavy, and hand-struck. They are incredibly rare and valuable today. This was quickly replaced by the most coinage ***. For the half-dollar, from 1965 to 1970, they used a 40% silver-clad composition. And then, in 1971, the unthinkable happened for a coin that had been silver for nearly 180 years. The half-dollar was reduced to the same copper-nickel-clad composition as the dime and quarter. The silver era was over. Without its intrinsic silver value, the half-dollar's role in commerce faded. Vending machines didn't accept it. Cash registers had no slot for it. It became a novelty. While the mint continued to strike them for circulation until 2001, most went straight into collectors' hands or sat in bank vaults. Today, the Kennedy half-dollar is still minted, but only in limited quantities for collectors and special numismatic products. The circulation strike half-dollar is essentially a relic of the past. So, the half-dollar has come full circle. From a rare, hand-struck silver piece in the 1790s, to a common-clad coin today that is itself rarely seen, its history mirrors our own, from the flowing hair of a young republic, to the striding confidence of the walking liberty, to the memorialization of a modern leader. It's a tangible link to our past, a piece of art, and a story of how American money has evolved. Next time you come across one, whether it's a worn 1964 silver Kennedy or an old Barber half, remember, you're holding a piece of that history. In coin collecting, condition is everything. It's the difference between a common piece of pocket change and a prized collectible. Today, we're going to break down the official grading scale, show you what to look for with your own eyes, and explain how grade translates directly to cash. To understand condition, you need to understand the ANA, American Numismatic Association, grading scale. It runs from 0 to 70, but we can group them into a few key categories. Okay, theory is great, but how do you do this at home? You look at the high points of the design. These are the areas that rub against other coins first and show where the most. Now, you might see coins sealed in plastic cases, or slabs. These have been graded by independent, professional companies like PCGS or NGC. This is the gold standard for determining condition and, therefore, value. A slabbed coin gives buyers and sellers confidence because the grade has been verified by a neutral expert. A raw coin, one that's loose, is graded by the seller or the buyer. This is where knowing how to grade for yourself becomes a superpower, so you don't overpay for an overgraded coin. A common coin, like a 1974 Kennedy half, needs to be in Gem MS 65 or better to be worth more than a few dollars, but a rare coin, like a 1916 D Mercury dime, is valuable in any condition. But imagine the difference: in good condition, it's worth around $1,000. In MS 65, it can be worth $20,000 or more.